CNN ran with the headline, Trump announces 90-day pause on reciprocal tariffs, they put it in quotes, with the exception of China, mentioning that he's raising the tariffs on China from 104 to 125. Now, what have we seen? If you go, so I've been browsing various subreddits and forums, and this is the death of businesses that rely on China. I don't think Trump cares. I mean, I'm sure, he'd tell you, yeah, sorry to hear about your business going under, but businesses are going to go under. Fox News ran a story where there's a toy maker, a toy distributor, and some of the products they get come from China, and their annual tariff bill went from $26,000 to $300 and some odd $1,000, meaning we don't got the money to pay that. Yeah, and when Trump puts these tariffs in place, effective immediately as he announced, this means that your shipment, you see it coming off the coast. It's about to make port at San Pedro, and then it docks, and you go, did I make it? And they go, nope. Trump announced the tariffs 10 minutes ago. Sorry, you're going to owe us $30,000 to get everything out of that container. And it can be sitting in the port, and and it's right there. It's on the port. Like, if you want it released, pay the tariff. Now, here's where it gets crazier. This is a nuclear bomb more than people realize, okay? China announced an 84% tariff in response to Trump's 104%. We in the United States do not just buy from China. China buys from us certain products, and then we buy products back from them. Skateboards being the easiest example, because I work in this industry and because we sell skateboards. Let me tell you about the nuclear apocalypse that is coming to sporting goods. China will buy raw materials from North America, Canada, or the United States. So factories in China will order North American rock maple from the U.S. So guess what?
104% tariff.
84% tariff upon landing in China, 104% upon return. So what happens is a guy in a lumber company, timbering company in the United States, gets a bunch of wood. A Chinese company orders that wood and says, we want this wood sent to China because we're going to turn it into sporting equipment. They say, okay, now let's say, I'm going to use skateboards as an example because I know the general prices of these things. It's $10 worth of wood that will be sent to China. China will then have a peasant mold that into a skateboard for about $5. Shipping for that one piece is going to cost a couple bucks each way. So we're looking at maybe $18 to $20 total cost to make that board. They then ship it back to the U.S., where a company will go to other distributors and say, we'll sell it to you for $30 Chinese made. If you go in America, it's going to cost you $35. Here's where it gets fun. That $10 worth of wood makes landfall in China with an $8.40 tariff on top for the Chinese factory. So now the hard raw cost is $18.40. They pay a Chinese peasant $5 to mold it into a skateboard and send it back to the U.S. at $24. Now with the 104% tariff, it's going to be going up to about $50 for a board that should have cost $20 because the tariffs hit on both sides.
Wow.
Then the distributor gets it and says, $50? Okay, well, here's the markup. A $30 Chinese-made board sells for $65 to $70. So this means now that the boards are $50 instead of $20 coming in, add that $30 on top, we're looking at $100 skateboards. This is what's crazy about it is that China will buy raw materials from us, tariffed, and then we'll buy it back from them tariffed. This is the end, man. If this persists, there are so many industries that are going to go belly up overnight. I'm for it. Look, I feel kind of bad because I know there are people who didn't really consider the ramifications of buying Chinese. And so when, as I mentioned with Booney's HQ, and when they came to us and said, do you want to start, you're like, where do you want to buy your boards from? We said, America always. And they said, China's $5 cheaper. I said, no, America. There are a lot of people who don't know anything about politics. And all they were told is, here's a cheaper board. And they said, okay. When the news drops of these tariffs and it happens instantly, the shipment of boards for this company are sitting at a port and they're going to say, look, you need $10,000 to offload the tariffs that came into place. And they're going to be like, we don't have that. It's like, okay, well, then we're sending them back in 5 days. You lose all your product. It goes back to China, paid for. You're not getting money back. You are out of business.
Is there a way to negate tariffs on goods and products that are created intranationally, I should say, between China and the U.S. only? If we supply them with resources for them to produce
a free trade agreement?
just a unique agreement between China and
What
the
about
United
like
States?
a partnership across the Pacific, like a trans-Pacific partnership? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, no, I'm not for that.
Well, but if we could somehow like still tariff things that they buy, I don't know. I'm just thinking outside the box. I don't know if it's
This is why the Chinese reciprocal tariff is crazy for a lot of industry. Now, wood's very specific. A North American rock maple, it's from North America. They're not growing that in China. And so they're buying from us. This is the stupidest thing. This is why I can't stand these free trade agreements. It makes literally no sense. But Chinese peasant labor is cheaper than Americans. And so the industry sacrificed the American workers, shut down their factories, and sold the industry to China. And today, the sport that I love, you look at the Chinese skate parks, the Chinese TV shows, it is exploding. The entirety of the skateboard industry is in Southeast Asia. Top pros that I talk to, they're like, I'm in Japan, I'm in China, I'm in Korea. And I'm like, and there's nothing in the United States. Pro skateboarders are working for Home Depot. They're working at gas stations. They're delivering Uber, or they're doing Uber Eats.
Is there like why is that? Is there
Because the industry got sold to China. Because the companies in this country said, we're going to make 5% more per year if we fire all of our employees and hire Chinese peasants to do the job instead.
So it's just accessibility in the United States to the skate culture is more expensive, so that it's just cheap in China or in Southeast Asia?
I feel like, when you look at the average liberal, their first order thinkers, as I've been describing, they don't think about how things work. So in the film Tommy Boy, we can use movies to describe it, right? He's got to go sell brake pads, just brake pads. Otherwise, the whole town dies. Why? What brings money into the town? Brake pads. That's it. It's an auto parts factory. If you get rid of the auto parts factory, the cafe goes out of business because nobody buys coffee anymore. The grocery store goes out of business because nobody can buy groceries anymore. The real estate agents leave because no one's buying houses anymore. The same thing is true for every industry. So for skateboarding specifically, the reason why I'm loving what Trump is doing is that you had a factory. 5 guys made skateboards. They had children. They'd come home and they'd give skateboards to their children. The factory would say, let's do a demo at the park to increase interest in our product and market it. Famously in Central Park in the 60s, they did a demo of skateboards and everybody came around, and it was in Life magazine. And there's the famous photo of the guy in the suit with the sunglasses riding on the skateboard. It's iconic. One day the company said, with the free trade agreements, we can do all of this with Chinese slave labor. We will sell the boards to the American people, and we're going to put $10 extra in our pocket, or whatever the profit margin was. Now there's no factories in the U.S. The demos started to fade and dry up because nobody was sharing the boards. There was no culture being built around it. There was no guy with his buddies showing up to the bar after hours saying, we just got out of the wood shop factory where we make skateboards, longboards, and surfboards. Gone. The peripheral of all the industry around that evaporated, and today the industry has completely collapsed.
So you said you've got an American distributor, so there's something going on. Do you think, what do you foresee would be the best path forward for American industry in the skateboard industry right now? If they for the factory that you purchased from, for instance, should they now literally be expanding and looking at buying another factory? They're
probably going to go out of business. And I find it hilarious because the skateboard industry is already dead. So that means these companies that extracted, they took this sport and they put it in a cold press and they squeezed out every last drop of profit they could, leaving a dried, withered husk of a culture. And with these tariffs hitting overnight, they're not going to be able to bring these boards in the country. We invested in what remains of the manufacturers in the United States, so we have zero issues whatsoever.
Yeah. So those guys are good. You're talking about these guys. They get the wood, United States.
Everything we get, it's all American.
So it makes so much sense. I just remember, growing up, and there seemed to be skate shops everywhere. And now, if I see one, it's closed down wow, man, this is.
Well, shout out to Bethesda Boards in Bethesda, Maryland. I know they're doing.
I love it. Yeah, I'm loving it, and I'm sure right now all of the big skate manufacturers, some of the boards are made in Mexico, so they're probably laughing, saying, "Okay, we got USMCA. We'll see what Trump does in that regard." But all the big Chinese manufacturers are just going well, that's it for us. Shoes too, Nike. Oh, they're on fire. Yeah, all these big shoe manufacturers are basically we're done. And they're trying to build factories in Vietnam now. So Trump this is an economic nuke on China. He has solved Thucydides' trap overnight. Basically said, if our concern is that we're going to go to war with China because they're growing economic power, let's just destroy their economy.
Wow. I've seen a lot of talk about that Xi Jinping is only as powerful as I don't know how they phrase it, as the economy. If that economy,
Yeah, Kevin O'Leary was saying that.
Oh no, O'Leary. We might bring this story up.
Yeah.
O'Leary said that he suggested we put a 400% on China, and like don't wait, like do it now.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.